So of course, thank you so much for being here, for accepting us in your office, actually for this welcoming.
You're very welcome. Yeah, come on. This is the House of European Democracy and an open house. So
thank you
welcome.
so much. So you are the co-chair of the LGBTI Intergroup here in the Parliament. So we would like to know more about the work that you do there and basically how's it going, what's the current situation of the LGBTI people here in the European Union, and what are the main challenges that you face? Because I think there are so many and we know that, but we would like to explore more.
Well, an intergroup, first maybe it's important to explain you what an intergroup is. An intergroup is a grouping of members of the European Parliament who have a certain interest and who work on one field of politics, and there's different intergroups in the Parliament. They have to be accepted by the Conference of Presidents and the Bureau, and the LGBTI Intergroup is one of the biggest intergroups, and it has over 120 members now from 5 political groups. We only have progressives and pro-European and pro-democratic people in, because when you want to become a member, we can check the voting, how you voted in different resolutions, and of course if you vote against women's rights, against gender equality, or LGBTI rights, you cannot be a member of this group. So we have members from, a few members from EPP, then many members from SD, Renew, the Greens and the Left, and also from the non-inscrits a few. So this is our membership. And what is also very important to say, I'm gay, and my co-chair, Kim van Sparrentak, she's lesbian, but a lot of them, most of the members are allies, and it's so important to have allies when you work on LGBTIQ plus rights, so that's a good thing. Yeah, the intergroup, in the last mandate we were very active too. We worked together with the Commission on the LGBTIQ plus equality strategy. We bridge with civil society, the European civil society. We work with ILGA Europe, with Transgender Europe, with the Intersex Organization of Europe, the European Lesbian Convention, etc. But also with national civil society and organizations if it's on special cases. For example, when there was the problems of the LGBTI free zones in Poland, we had contacts with the Polish civil society. When it was the famous Bulgarian case of baby Sarah, this baby who didn't have documents for many years because 2 lesbian mothers, and in the birth certificate the baby was born in Spain. On the birth certificate there was 2 mothers, and Bulgaria didn't recognize it, so this baby and kid never got papers, and etc. So then of course we work with the national also civil society, and we monitor the situation of LGBTI people in the European Union, in the member states, but also outside. We had a lot of resolutions in the Parliament on the LGBTI subject, but also on other subjects where we added 1 or 2 paragraphs on LGBTIQ plus rights. So this is what we do, and I can tell you we're quite busy in these times also of backlash.
Yeah.
And the main challenges, some of our main challenges or priorities is also really now also concentrate a lot on trans people and on intersex people, because they are in the community the most targeted, especially trans women, and this is it's important. We also were now recently very active supporting the European Citizen Initiative to ban the conversion practices, also called conversion therapies. This was a very successful European Citizens Initiative which came from France and which got over 1.2 million signatures. And now we had a hearing in the Parliament, in the committees. We had a debate in the plenary, and now it's up to the Commission to deliver. And this is also something we follow very closely. So yeah, we're quite busy as an intergroup, and of course we have the whole, the LGBTIQ plus rights. the same as women's rights, are very much challenged by the so-called anti-gender movement, who invented this concept of gender ideology. And there is no gender ideology. When you fight for women's rights or when you fight for LGBTQ plus rights, it's just equality and it's anti-discrimination. I don't want more rights for women or more rights for LGBTQ. I just want the same right and no discrimination. This is all what it is about. But this narrative, which the far right, it was like a gift from the sky. They took this and all the problems in certain member states, some politicians blame it on gender equality or Brussels bureaucracy. So it's always this narrative, and we have to fight against that because there is no ideology. Being an LGBTIQ person is an identity, and it's not an ideology. And certainly intersex people, that's even biology. So we have to fight all this narrative of this anti-gender movement and the far-right narrative, and that has become quite tiring lately. And they've been very successful in targeting, scapegoating the community, but we won't let them. We won't let them do this. So, voilà, this is a bit what we do.
Okay, thank you so much. And actually about the anti-gender movement, we know that you recently had an event about that in Luxembourg.
Mm-hmm.
So we would like to ask you if you could explore more the movement. So how is it possible that it was, that it was founded, like even if it's not like I don't know, if it's not that formal.
It's like a loosely connected. It's a transnational movement, and they when they hear the word gender, and they think that when you defend women's rights or LGBT rights, you destroy family, traditional family, or they say that they have to protect children. That's why they are against sexual and relationship education in school, which is crazy, because I think we should have more sexual and relationship education in school, because you make children much more resilient also against sexual abuse, and if they know about different sexual orientation, it's important for them, so they see that there's nothing wrong with them. On the contrary, if you scapegoat LGBTQ plus people and young people, there's people who commit suicide because they don't feel accepted in their community. So they say they protect children, but they don't protect children. They put children and young people into danger if they tell them that there's something wrong with them, and if there is nothing wrong with them. So this is this movement, and I think we have to, I did this in Luxembourg because I think we have to go to the member states and also explain what this anti-gender movement is, and that we have to get organized civil society together with progressive and pro-European political parties to counter this movement, and not let them spread their disinformation, misinformation, hate speech, and division. They try to divide society, and so that's why I organized this also in Luxembourg, and I told colleagues to do it in their member states, that we need to get organized to better counter this movement, and most over their fake narratives and false narratives, and voilà. So, but it's this movement is very well organized, very well sponsored, also by Russia, by the US government, by the evangelicals, and they're very successful in African countries. That's why you see now in certain countries laws coming up to put same-sex relationship again on as a crimes, or even death penalty, as we had the law in Uganda 2 or 3 years ago. Now in Senegal we had new legislation, so they're quite successful, and we have to combat it. As I said again, there is no gender ideology, there is just human rights, there's a human rights agenda, and it's just to fight anti-discrimination and equality, to fight for equality.
Thank you. Thank you.
If I'm getting too long, you can cut me.
No,
don't
absolutely.
hesitate.
It's really a pleasure to hear you
okay.
speaking about this topic,
Okay.
because we can see that you're an expert on this, and you work on these topics, and it's really important what you do, basically.
Thank you.
Because we need you as a representative of us citizens and youths, that you care about us, that you work for us and you protect us in a way, as you said. I think it's really important what you said about like the prevention, also about suicide.
Exactly, because I mean, what the narrative is, and we saw it also when we had the debate on this citizens' initiative to ban conversion therapy, they pretend that, people become gay or trans or lesbian because they hear about it in school, or they see a movie on Netflix about it, etc. And it's completely false, because if you talk to trans people, I'm gay, so I know it, I knew it, I was born gay, and as I said in that speech, I am gay and I'm the result of the beautiful diversity of nature, and it's not society who made me gay, or when I read a book about it or a movie. It's completely ridiculous, but they play with this, and therefore they attack. You saw what happened in Hungary with this so-called child protection law, which was just a copy of the Russian anti-LGBTI propaganda law, and that they think that they had to protect children. No, they're not protecting children. We have to inform people, young people, and especially when it comes to trans people. I know a lot of trans people, trans women who transitioned very late, 55, 60, even 65, and they said it was either this, finally letting this out, or suicide. And therefore I don't want younger trans people, when they to have to suffer from when they're at 18 to 50, to do the step, that they should do it because they know what they want, and therefore we have to inform more about it. Also intersex persons, this is we have to get legislation that to forbid intersex genital mutilation, because often there's panic, there's not enough information, and then they try to operate these children into either the boy or a girl, and instead of just leaving time and let these people then choose what. And if you speak to adult and intersex persons, some said they have been really castrated, they could have had even children, but they were operated as babies without knowing, and some intersex person only knew that they were intersex because through medical examination suddenly, or blood tests, it came out, or when the parents were dying, they said, okay, we kept the secret all your life, and this is terrible. So we should be open about all these things exist, and so it's also fighting against taboos, and information is very important. And that's why in the intergroup we try really also to focus a bit also on trans and intersex rights, because they are also the most targeted, and if you see the reports of the Fundamental Rights Agency, they are also the ones more targeted by hate speech and hate crime. So it's about protection also, the work we do. Yeah.
Thank you.
You get me going here.
As I said, it's really a pleasure. For the last question, I can just ask you about as I said, the challenges within the European Parliament. So with the other MEPs, that maybe they're part of the anti-gender movement, but they they try to, oppose sometimes the rights, women's rights, also LGBT rights. So how do you counter?
Especially this mandate is much more different than the last mandate, because the far-right groups have gained in numbers. We have 3 far-right groups, ECR, the Patriots, and ESN, and of course they are adapted to this anti-gender movement, and they use this narrative, and it is sometimes quite tough. And in the last debate, we had to intervene. Some colleagues had to intervene and say this is about hate speech here, and so this is also something new that they unleash themselves, and especially after the election of Trump, this in French you would say décomplexé. I don't know how you would say it in English. They just unleash themselves and say there is no more barriers to just even publicly publicly say things, sexist things or discriminative things, and so this is a new moment, but we don't let we are strong, and we try to monitor that, but to conclude, I'm always optimistic. Hate never wins, love always wins. So we saw it last Sunday in Hungary. Hate lost and love won, and I think we make sure that in this parliament love will always win, and and equality, and it's worth investing in the union of equality, because that's in our values. It's in the treaties. We have the Fundamental Rights Charter, and this is the basis of our democracy, and protecting women's rights, promoting and protecting equality is also protecting and promoting democracy. There's a very close link to it, and that's what we're trying to do, and we are still a majority, so that's important also to say. Voilà.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We are here, of course, to support
Okay.
your battles that are also our battles.
Okay,
so
cool. Yeah, good. Continue.